Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's your favourite commentator, Zach O'Reilly, here at Simsational TV and ex-professionally bad sim racer at your service here for another episode of our track guide series here in Simsational TV. This one is coming from you at Eastern Creek or Sydney Motorsport Park, whichever way you want to look at it, whether you're 30 years old or younger. It'll be two different names to you, but this is a track guide around the circuit in a Mercedes-Benz V8 Supercar here for our Gen 2 series that we are running here at Season 12 at AK Racing. And we're lucky to be the broadcaster for these guys coming up. The opening round is on Sunday coming this week, so make sure you tune in on the channel for that. But without further ado, we're going to get into a hot lap around here, break it down at the start into different pointers and where I brake, where I turn, how to get on the throttle, how not to, where to overdo it on the corners and overwork the tyre. And we'll see everything on board here, and we'll break that down first and I'll do a hot lap after with just some little pointers and tips at the end, see if that helps you along to see where you get the car pointed in. But let's get cracking and straight into it here. We're coming down the front straightaway at Sydney Motorsport Park here into 6th gear. Whack it into top gear and just get on the beans, and we start turning in about, I reckon, about the 60 metre mark, just after the 100 metre board you saw on the right hand side there, and we get the car eased in. I'm not putting a lot of steering lock in, but we are now on the brakes just to dab that pedal, just to get the rear unsettled and point it in a little bit, and hopefully that we make some sort of apex around the corner. This is a very important corner. You can lose or gain time here by either overcooking it on the entry or overdoing it on the exit. If you push it too hard and your car understeers wide, or mid-corner you develop some oversteer, which can also halt your momentum too. But we'll see how I manage to do it around this corner. I'm just going to get the slow motion up here at the moment. Let's see what we do in slow-mo. So I've got it pointed in, and we are now just dabbing the brake just to get the car turned in. Looks like a lot of understeer, but we'll see it later on where it is not a lot at all. But I'm already on the power, full beans, and accelerating at 230 Ks, 231, 232, coming into the exit of the corner. Now we come up to this next section here, and we just start braking just at about 130 metres. I'm a bit of a light braker. I get on it a little bit earlier, but I don't push the brake pedal all the way down, all the way to the end of the braking zone. You'll see here how I modulate that in slow motion when we get down here. Let's have a look and see what we can do it here. So I'm heavily braking and see where the car is. I'm pointed already, sort of pointing in towards the left-hand side. That's where you want to go, and you'll see here as to why I do that coming up. So let's get it into the slow motion sort of stuff. Whacking it down the gears into third. Still hard on the brakes as I come into the corner, but I'm already off it. See, now I've already modulated that throttle to get the car pointed in to an early apex, but it's sort of a double apex corner here, and on the throttle now, get the car pointed in and rotated just that a little bit to get the car edgy, but so you can see the little minor steering correction there. That's what you need, and I'm already full throttle coming out of here. Now, third gear around here, and I'm not full throttle, and you're wondering why I'm not full throttle around this corner. Well, one, you can make it, but I wouldn't make it in this setup of the car. But two, it actually helps you on the exit if you go a little bit slower on the entry to this turn, because you won't wash wide, which means you are then turning your wheel for longer as you exit this corner here. And you'll see what I mean as we come into the grand scheme of things of a super slow motion replay. So I'm 2 times slow here, and see how I'm now just on the throttle, but right there, see where I am, but the steering wheel is just teetering on the edge. It's just teetering on the edge of turning. That's minimal steering input there, guys. And I'm now full throttle and just letting the slip angle of the car pull me around the corner. And you'll see that there. See, there's no movement at all. Heavy braking down the hill into the next double right-hander. This is also a corner that you can take multiple lines on here, depending on your setup of your car or how confident you are around here with the tyre grip and where your balance is as well in the setup. And you'll see here that when I get to this section, we will start to run a little bit wide. So I'm just braking there at about the 70 metre mark. Get the car pointed in from 5th down to 3rd. Turn it in early. This is the line I like to take. And I'm already on the throttle mid-corner there. You can see that already. But as I come out, I'm just a bit too hairy on the throttle there, and minor correction that was needed. And that is ideally not where you want to be in the grand scheme of things for an exit. But it didn't hamper me too much, because you can get away with it here, because as soon as you do that, there is literally a breaking point, and we are now at that point here. So I would say that with this corner, you could either hang it really long to the left and then just try to hug the left-hand side of the next left-hander, but that's not going to help you when it comes to the grand scheme of things on exit speed for the next section. This is why you can take a shallow line and then try to get as far right as you possibly can here. And we'll see exactly how that happens in a bit of slow motion here. So I've managed to get it to the right-hand side, but now I'm already starting to flick it in. So I'm on the brakes about half sort of percentage there and getting the car turned in. And now I'm already throttling out because I know that I'm going to make the corner. This is a little bit conservative here, but see how my wheel is already pointed literally straight. I'm not oversteering. I'm just turning it to the left-hand side. That is what you want, because the longer you turn your steering wheel in these things, the more understeer you have, in other words, the slower you're going to be on the exit. And you can already see I'm nearly at full throttle here, and nearly at the exit of this corner, running just half the car up onto the concrete, as we see here now. So already there, but the car's still pointed, but my steering wheel is straight. Brake as you just feel this rise, this sort of dip into this left-hand turn is where you want to brake the car, because you get the car squatted down on the front tyres as much as you can, which means a lot more braking performance. And it doesn't unsettle the rear too much at this point. It more unsettles the rear once you start to try to turn into the corner. And that's exactly what happened to me here. I got a bit overzealous on the throttle, and we'll see on the brakes, and we'll see what happens here as I do so. So watch this. I'm hard on the brakes, shifting down gears, get into second gear. And as I turn in here, I'm still too much on the brakes, and I've already lost the rear. But my minimum speed there in the middle, it actually didn't hamper me. I didn't get back any, I don't think it went lower than 90 degrees here. Let's have a look. So if we quickly go back 90 degrees, 90 kilometers an hour. So if I'm there, well, let's have a look. See if I can get this sorted and done for you. All right, let's have a look in super slow-mo here. So let's have a focus on the steering wheel. So I'm sideways here. I've lost speed through the corner, so not ideal. But I'm at 95 k's an hour. There you go. And I went to 96, 99, 100. So I'm already powering out. It didn't really hamper me too much, and just take a note of that when we come around to finish this lap and we do a full speed hot lap. You'll know what I'm talking about here. Already made the exit, and I'm right on the edge of that ripple strip here, but see where the car's pointed? I'm already straight and I'm on the throttle. That's the ideal place you want to be on exit, and you don't want to be turning the wheel too far here. This next section here is pretty cool. Up under the bridge, just as you get towards the overpass, you can dip it down into third if you like, but I stuck it in fourth here and just hung it around the outside, and you'll see the end result here. But I actually gained time in here compared to my previous laps by just sticking fat and hoping the car would stick. So get the car dipped into the left, and this will unsettle the rear a little bit, but not too much if you aren't too aggressive on the steering wheel input. And you'll see what happens here once we do so. So come in, let's have a look. Straight in there. Now we're turned in. I'm off the brake already. Now I'm already throttling out. Modulating that throttle pedal, that's very important to do on these V8 Supercars. I'm still not at full throttle yet because I'm sort of running wide here, and I just nicked the outside edge, but that didn't hurt me too much, because as you come out of here, this is where you want to get a wide berth into the right-hander here, which is sort of like a downhill hairpin, off camber, on camber, all at the same time. This corner, very technical as well. To get it right, I should just wash completely straight forward and lose a hell of a lot of time. So you don't want to do that, but I'm in their braking zone already. So hard on the brakes as I come into this corner, slap it down into second gear, get that car rev matched and pointed in. And you can see already that I'm turning in, and I'm very, very early here to turn the car, but I need to, because I'm still trail braking into this corner here, and as soon as I know that I've made the apex, I'm back on the throttle. Throttle's already on, and now we're powering out of the corner, and the car is rotating nicely here, just teetering on the edge of that slip angle, but I'm still full throttle, so the car is balanced well in the rear for this type of corner. Now, that is a very technical one to get right. So let's go up to here to probably the hardest section of the track, I would say, to master. You can stick it in fourth if you want, hold it in fourth, or flap it into fifth, but if you do flap it into fifth, or shift it, whatever you want to call it, this could unsettle your car depending on the gear ratio you have. So just see where you feel is comfortable. But this corner here is important trajectory-wise to set up the whole run onto the straight. If you get this, you're going to get absolutely swamped onto the straight if you get this wrong. So let's watch it in slow motion just to focus on it a bit more here. So coming in fifth gear, riding that curb already. I'm halfway onto this curb and just teetering on the edge, downshifting as I go. The car's settled nicely and I'm still in third. But see here, see where I am now in relativity to the curb. It is basically, I reckon I'll be half the car already over that inside curb. And I'm using the inside of the outer ripple strip, not the sausage curb on the inside, to dance my way across, but sort of pull the car in as well. So if you can master this was going to be very, very good for you. You'll probably find yourself 3 or 4 tenths. See how the car settles already? I'm under power because I know that it's done that. A little bit of a correction, but it didn't hurt my speed because right at this point, this corner, you can only do one way, and this is the right way to do it, in my opinion anyway, is get the car pointed in to hug the inside, but then wash a little bit out in the middle of the corner, and you'll see what I'm talking about here. So let's get the slow motion going. So I'm still braking, but I'm hardly on the brakes, like 20%, 30% brake pressure. Now I'm accelerating because at that point, I know already that this corner is a on-camber corner, so it sort of pulls you in, and the only thing that stops you from running wide is that trajectory of the track itself. Once you hit the curb, you can oversteer it if you're a bit zealous on the throttle, but we'll have a look here and go for it. Let's go along in slow motion once more here. So third gear, I've got the car rotated and whack, just a little bit of oversteer, but did that hurt my speed? Not one bit at all. That is just dancing on the limiter, and that's how you can do it in these cars. I promise you it's a quick way around. See, 118, 119, 121, my speed on the steering wheel never altered or faltered or anything like that. I did not lose time. In fact, that was probably my best exit. Run it wide onto that final curb. Use all the curb if you can because that won't hurt you. And then that is the end of the lap. We'll see what it comes across on the timing delta as 25.925 around Sydney Motorsport Park. Let's go back, as we always do. I hope that sort of makes sense to you, but let's do a full speed one because I think the full speed really emphasises what I was talking about here in the previous section of this video. And that's exactly what you want to see. You want to see it at full pace rather than breaking down because a lot of that stuff doesn't make sense until you see it at full speed. So without further ado, let's go. Crossing the line here into turn one, dip the brake, just get the car pointed and nosed in quickly onto the power to get the car rotated and turned around that corner without understeering. Brake at the 130 metre mark, slap it down 4/3, second gear. Double apex here. You can choose to go shallow or go wide, but I go shallow here. Get on the power early, as you can see. Third gear, just feathering the throttle at 80-90%. Balance the car on the exit there beautifully there as we come around. Dip it down from fifth to third. Point it in, turn it wide. Not over too much on the power because that's exactly what happens. A bit of oversteer there. Turn the car in. Use all the inside of the circuit as you can. Run it wide onto the exit, not crossing the white, yellow lines there. Dip it as you come over the rise. Second gear, too much oversteer rear locking, but that didn't hamper much there at all. Probably lost 2 tenths in the grand scheme of things. Fourth gear, slap it in. Get the car hugged in that early apex. Run it wide, but use all the track as well as you can. Get into this right-handing hairpin. Run wide on the exit here, as use all of that circuit as you possibly can. It's an excellent way to get some time onto the board. Fifth gear, slap it into fourth, right in the curb. Third gear, ride the inside curb, get the car balanced and pointed, throttle out. Very, very important to get that right. Still on the brakes, just mash the throttle now as you come out. If you can feather that beautifully onto a lovely, lovely exit onto the final straight down the hill. And this will be the 125.925 that I posted up in the race server, I think it was, or the secondary practice server, whichever one. But I hope that makes sense and you can see what it takes to get a lap done around here. It might feel like the car that you have is too loose, but then also it might feel like it's really, really bound up in the rear, which means it doesn't release off a corner. You might feel like you've got all the grip in the world, but it's not going to help you at all. And I'll do another video on this during the week, or maybe next week, on what is important and what isn't important to get on these cars. Because when this V8 Supercar goes around here on the Assetto Corsa, it might feel unnerving and loose and just horrible, but there's a reason as to why it does that, because once you get past the next level of driving these things into, say, from an amateur to a professional sort of level, knowing where the car limit is, the grip limits are, what it's going to do before it actually happens, it's very important to have the car set up right. But we'll get onto that later. But I hope this has helped you at home, and I hope you've liked the video. Please leave a comment, a like, and if you haven't hit the subscribe button, please do. But that is a lap and a bit of an educational guide on where to get the car around Sydney Motorsport Park. Feather that throttle, boys, and modulate that brake pedal. You'll see that in this video. If you keep watching it back, you'll see what it takes to get around here. But without further ado, I'm V8 Supercar. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you at the next one.